Thank you everyone for joining. Tonight's sponsor is Rabbi Shmuel Eagle. Shmuel, right? May Hashem bless him with all spiritual and material good. And all see married to see Mashiach with all of us.
What's his name?
Shmuel Eagle. Shmuel Eagle.
Shmuel Eagle?
Shmuel Eagle.
I thought he's from Christ.
Yeah, he is. Sends over the proceeds and that's how we buy the food.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's coming next week to Florida.
He's coming? Alright, so the Rebbe is talking about Rosh Hashanah of Hasidus, Yutas Kislev, and how it is not just the holiday, but the biggest Rosh Hashanah of Hasidus. And the Rebbe goes on to speak about it. It's incredible the terminology the Rebbe uses about Yutas Kislev. He says that this Yutas Kislev started the emanation of the Torah of Mashiach. That with Yutas Kislev, with the Alter Rebbe's Chassidus, the way the Alter Rebbe, when he came out of jail, the way that he was made he distributed, he taught Chassidus. After he came out of jail, based on Surim, the Rebbe says that was the manifestation of the taste of Torah Shel Mashiach. The Rebbe starts saying that since Shabbos is Friday night, Yudalit, and then Tes Vav is Shabbos, and then Yutes will be Tuesday. This is the same kvius, the year, the same kvius as the year when the Alter Rebbe was released from jail. It was also, everything fell on the same date. The Rebbe says, obviously, we know that Tuesday, and it's going to happen the same year, same this year. We have the same kvius, we have the same time exactly. Tuesday will be this year on Yutes Kislev. The days the Alter Rebbe left, Beis Asurim was released. The Rebbe says everything is Regacha Pratis. We have to understand, that Tuesday, all the days of the week, but especially Tuesday belongs to Shabbos. Within 3 days from Shabbos is Tuesday. So Shabbos blesses Tuesday. We have to know the connection, to understand the connection between Yud Dalet, Friday night, Tes Vav Shabbos, and then Yutes will be Tuesday. What is the connection? So what is the greatness of Yutas Kislev? The Rebbe says we can explain this by looking at the other holidays that we have. Pesach and Shavuos, Pesach and Sukkot. They both fall on Tes Vav, on the middle of the month when the moon is full. Kaimar Sihar Bashel Musach. Here the moon will play a big role in the Sikha. The Rebbe will explain according to the lunar cycle how great Yutas Kislev is. We'll see from the days of the month how we reflect the greatness of Yutas Kislev, as opposed to the other Yom Tovim we have. Even the regular Yom Tovim, Pesach and Sukkot, this will make them so miniature compared to Yutas Kislev. It's incredible how great Yutas Kislev is. So the Rebbe starts by saying, we find that those Yom Tovim, like Pesach and Sukkot, even Purim, all fall in the middle of the month, while the moon is still filling up with light. The cycle, the disk of the moon fills up with light, and when it reaches the ultimate, when it fills up completely, that's when these Yom Tovim fall on. Sukkot, we have a year on Tes Vav, and then Tishrei, and Pesach, Tes Vav Nisan. All those Yom Tovim, those two Yom Tovim, are at the time when the moon is completely full. Even Shavuos, which is the 50th day from Pesach, always falls within the first half of the month while the moon is still increasing in light. Not diminishing, but increasing in light. The Rebbe says, how come Yutas Kislev falls on, Yutas is always after the first half of the month when the moon, the light of the moon starts to go down, it starts to diminish. The Rebbe says, apparently, this phenomenon of the moon decreasing in light should actually reflect the numbers of the days. Because if the number of days increases in the first half of the month, just like the light of the moon increases, Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet goes up in number, and the light of the moon goes up, so too the number of the days go up. But we see something interesting, that the second half of the month, when the light of the moon starts to go down, starts to diminish, we see that the numbers of the days still go up. Shouldn't it be that the number of the days should go down just like the days, just like the light of the moon diminishes, so too the number of the days should start going down from the second half of the month. The Rebbe says, we see that the number of the days increases. We go from Tes Vav to Tes Zayin, from Yud Zayin to Yud Ches, Yud Tes, all the way up until double the days of the first half, which is like 30 days. We see that the number of the days increases. How is it that the number of the days increase if the light of the moon diminishes? So the Rebbe says that the reason that the light of the moon starts to go down, as we explained before, why are we talking about the moon altogether? Because the Rebbe wants to explain the greatness of Yitas Kislev. Yitas Kislev will understand, because we are likened, we are compared to the moon. The Jewish people are compared to the moon. We counted the moon, and it said that we will renew. The whole nation of Jewish people will renew like the moon. So that's why we're talking about the moon. This will actually show us how great Yitas Kislev is. We're already in the midst of answering this question right now. So the Rebbe goes on to say that we see as the number of the days increase in the second half of the month, the Rebbe starts putting down all the different numerical values, like Yud Zayin is Toev, Yud Ches is Chai, and then all the way Yud Tes. The Rebbe brings all the types of numerical values of these days, which show how good these days are. Incredible. There's something increasing here, even though the light is diminishing, the light is going down, but there's something underneath, something behind the scenes that is increasing, because this is why the number of the days is increasing. So Rebbe goes on to say, יוסי, תאכל, בוא לאכול. שטוף ידיים, תאכל, בוא. Rebbe goes on to say, למה אתה לא רוצה לאכול? למה? בוא. Rebbe goes on to say that the reason the light of the moon goes down is because the moon gets closer to the sun. The moon is like the Mekabel, the sun is like the Mashpia, like a Mekabel and Mashpia. How do you say this in English? Mekabel is the recipient, Mashpia is the giver, the teacher, the giver, the influencer. I don't know how to say it in English. I mean, I probably do, but I just don't have the right word for it. Mashpia and Mekabel. I mean, everyone knows what a Mashpia and Mekabel here. Pretty sure everyone knows. I hope so. It's like the giver and the taker. So the one that gives is the sun. The sun owns the light. The moon does not have its own light. The moon gets from the sun. So the moon, in that respect, is like the Talmud, like the Mekabel. It receives everything it has. It has nothing of its own. And when the Mekabel comes closer to the Mashpia, when the moon comes closer to the sun, it cannot act as a Mashpia. It's a Mekabel. The moon is a Mekabel. It cannot act as a Mashpia. It receives. It cannot give. It does not give. It does not have anything of its own light. It receives all the light it has from the sun. So when it comes closer to the sun, when the Mekabel comes very close to the Mashpia, it does not act as a Mashpia. It acts only as a Mekabel. And therefore what happens is that the light of the moon goes down gradually until it completely diminishes. Completely. We don't see anything from the light of the moon anymore. But when the Mekabel, when the recipient gets further from the Mashpia, gets away further from the Mashpia, when the moon gets further away from the sun, that's when the Mekabel now can start to give over. It can start giving its own stuff, its own light. It's like Vayishlach in the Rebbe. We explained before in the series before, where the Rebbe talks about that relationship, Rebbe compares the Shliach as in the relationship of a Mekabel, which is the Rebbe himself. So when the Shliach comes to the Rebbe, does not have much of his own light to influence to others. It's just coming to receive from the Rebbe. So you don't really see much of his hashpah, much of his influence on the outside. But when he goes away further from the headquarters, 770, when he goes out to his place, wherever he is poil, wherever he's doing his action, activities, and whatever have you, there he emanates. There he has a lot of influence. He can actually emanate a lot of the hashpah, a lot of the effects that he got from the headquarters, from the home office, from where he starts to get everything that he needs, and now he starts to give it over. That's when he gets further away from the mashpia. Again, we have mekabel and mashpia. And therefore the Rebbe goes on to say like this: really, the light decreases, the light diminishes, but in truth, something else increases. And it's called etzem. When the moon gets closer to the sun, it gets closer to the source. In Kabbalah, in Hasidus, we call it the etzem, the source, the essence. How would you call etzem in English?
Essence.
Essence, right? Essence is the source of everything. Giluim is revelations of the etzem. It's not the etzem. It's nowhere near the etzem. It's not an iota of the etzem, but it's a revelation of the etzem. You can't say it has nothing to do with it because it's a revelation of the etzem. So, the moon gets closer to the sun. The moon gets closer to the source where it gets the light from. Yes, the light of the moon diminishes, but it gets closer to the source, to the boss, to where the powerhouse, where he gets everything from. So really, this is an increase, not of light, but of the essence. The essence increases. When you come closer to the essence, your revelation of the essence increases. Even though the light diminishes, but the essence increases. The etzem, the source, increases. It's much more important. We don't see that revelation. It's dark because there's no revelation for the etzem, the source. It's always hidden from us, not from Hashem. Hashem is the etzem, right? We say Hashem is the essence of everything. Hashem is the essence. Hashem is the source. So, but it's hidden. So what is more stronger? The light of the moon? When the moon completely gets away further from the sun and it has a lot of light, or when the moon actually gets closer to the sun, does not have light until the light is gone, but the moon gets from the essence. Obviously, it's much stronger. It's the strongest when the moon gets closer and closer to the sun. The light goes out completely, but the moon becomes one with the sun. At that point, we don't see the moon at all. We don't see the light of the moon at all. But it's one with the essence. That revelation right there is the closest to the sun and become one. They become one entity. And then, which revelation is now dominant? The essence. The etzem is in full revelation right now. The Rebbe says, obviously, this is a much, much higher level of revelation, even though we don't see it. It's on the highest level because the essence is revealed, even though we don't see the light, but we know that the essence is revealed. And now we can explain about Yutas Kislev. Yutas Kislev starts from the second half of the month, when the light diminishes. When the light diminishes. To show us, Yutas Kislev has to do, it's a holiday that has to do with the essence. It's much higher than Revelations. We said Revelations are much lower. Revelations are when the moon gets further from the sun, gets further from the essence. So Yutas Kislev belongs to the second half of the month because it's a revelation of the essence. Essence of the Torah. And the Rebbe says, put it in more practical details. The Rebbe says that this is why it's Kislev. It's the third month of the winter month, as opposed to, when was the Torah given? Sivan. Sivan is the third of the summer months. And the Rebbe says that the summer month on Sivan was given to us, the Moshe Sinai, Moshe received the Torah from Sinai, was the revelation of Nigla, of the external part of the Torah. Exterior, the guf, the body of the Torah. as opposed to Kislev. Kislev is the third month on the winter month, and this is revelation. This is the giving of Hasidus, which is the neshama, the essence of the Torah. The Rebbe says, and he uses terms over here, would not believe this. In other words, you read the words, the terminology the Rebbe uses to describe the time that the Rebbe left jail, Yitas Kislev. And this was really the giving of the Torah.
They were in jail,
Huh?
They were in prison many years ago.
Yeah, that was like 250 years ago.
But they were in prison.
Yeah.
They weren't in prison, right?
It wasn't prison.
They weren't in prison?
Yeah, yeah. You just give us the word released. So the Rebbe says the essence of the Torah was given, and the Rebbe says the beginning of the Torah of Mashiach. In other words, the taste from the foretaste from the Torah of Mashiach, whatever the Rebbe says, there's no comparison between the two. Sivan was given the nigla of the Torah, and during Kislev was given the essence of the Torah, Chassidus. And the Rebbe says there's no comparison between the two. This is like it says when it says in the Midrash that the Torah that we learned today is hevel, is like a nut. When do you say hevel? Is totally insignificant compared to the Torah we're going to learn when Mashiach comes. The inner aspect of the Torah, the essence of the Torah, which is Chassidus, and this was all revealed on Yitas Kislev when he left jail. So obviously everything is preordained by Hashem that he would leave Kislev. And Kislev is the third month, and that's when Chassidus will have to start to emanate in those radio waves, which are totally incomparable to the Torah that we received in Moshe Rabbeinu's time, the Nigla, the revealed part of the Torah. And the Rebbe goes on to say that with the you can see this in the name of the month, Kislev itself. Kislev is Kes, and Lev Kes is hidden. If you know that from the word mechuseh means Kesed, again, right, when everything is hidden, but then Lev, Lamed Vav, is like Loi, which is 36, the Rebbe says, shows on complete revelation. So you have Kes, which means everything is hidden, and then you have Lev, you have Lamed Vav, which means everything is revealed, because Lamed Vav is 36. 36 shows on the 6 attributes that we have, and 6 are included of 6. We know that every midah is included, every attribute we have is included of the other attribute that we have. So 6 times 6 will be 36. It's a full revelation of all the details of the attributes that one can have. So we see a fullest revelation on one hand, and then we see on the other hand, in the first part of the name, Kes, which means hidden. So to show that even though it's coming from a very hidden source, it's coming from total concealment, it's really a full revelation of the essence, of the deepest depths of the Torah. But it's all revealed, the essence is revealed, not to us, but it's revealed. So the moon is totally covered. We don't see any light of the moon whatsoever, but we know it's the closest to the essence to actually become one with the essence. And when they become one, the Rebbe says, this symbolizes the Jewish people. Because what will happen is, when Mashiach comes, this symbolizes the marriage of the Jewish people with Hashem. And the marriage of the Jewish people is when Hashem and the Jewish people become one. There's no more Mashpia and Mekabel. There's no more, that's what the Rebbe says. In other words, you would think that Hashem is always going to give us. Hashem is always going to influence us, and is going to be in charge and the highest authority, and we will always do what Hashem says. And it's true. That will always continue. But we will be one entity with Hashem. We will be one and the same thing. They're not going to be two parts, the Jewish people and Hashem. When we will be one with Hashem, when Mashiach comes, it's like the unification of the sun and the moon together. And as we know that the sun and moon will actually have the same radiance, they're going to be same, one and the same. The moon will not receive light from the sun anymore. The moon will have its own light. And it will radiate, it will shine as strong as the sun is shining now. It will not be a recipient, it will not be a mekabel from the sun anymore. And that's what Chassidus does, the Rebbe says. That's what Chassidus did to the world. It's actually brought the world to the point where Chassidus influences the person, it refines the person, brings the world and the person all together to a level where They become one with the essence, and now the world, now the world is ready. The Rebbe says, with the progression of 7 generations, starting from the Alter Rebbe, all the way to the 7th generation. The Rebbe says all this job was done, and the world right now is ready, and to the point where the world is not. The Rebbe says over here something incredible. If you'll understand, and we'll stop with this. We'll have another 2 minutes maybe, but this is a very, very incredible footnote the Rebbe brings down. Footnote 112. The Rebbe goes like this. The Rebbe says, from this we understand, mamash in our days, the Rebbe says, truthfully, give it a better term, we only have to open our eyes. And we can see the metzius, we can see the true condition in which we are in right now. We are actually sitting together with Hashem. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Israel, we are together with Hashem. We're actually one entity. Then the Rebbe, footnote 112. Look at this. The Rebbe said like this. Klomar, which means to say, what we mean to say is this. Does not mean, when we say that the work is completed and the world is ready for Mashiach to come, it does not mean that we have finished the work and now we actually have to bring about the revelation of everything. The Rebbe says, no, that's not the case. Because we can understand a statement like this when we say that everything is ready and everything is ready for Mashiach to come. It means that it's not revealed. Everything is ready, but not. The revelation is not here. The Rebbe says that's not the case. It's not only that the work was completed, but and you have to bring about the revelation. It's still not there. It's still not in a revealed state. It's hidden. The Rebbe says no, that's not. Furthermore, this is all here. The Metzius of Mashiach is here. Everything is in actuality over here, the Rebbe says. The Rebbe uses the words. I'll say it again. And you only have to open your eyes because Hashem gave you eyes to see. In other words, the Rebbe finishes off with this, saying that the world has come to the state where the sun and the moon are one and the same. They're one entity. Chassidus was already dispersed, was already emanated, was already spread out throughout all 4 corners of the earth. Every place is not the place that was left out, and the world is ready. And now to the point where there's no sun and moon. In the analogy that we made before, with the sun and the moon, that one is the recipient and one is the giver and one is the recipient. There's no such state anymore. There's no such a thing anymore. We are right now at the place, at the time, where both the sun and the moon are together. The moon is closest and has become one with the essence. So therefore, the Rebbe says, we have to act relatively the same. And the directives the Rebbe is giving for this is that we have to farbring. When we farbring on Yudalet, well, the Rebbe doesn't mention Yudalet over here, but the Rebbe says that the moon gets to the fullest measure of light gets between the time that he got married. The Rebbe's marriage was Yudalet and Tesvav, that night of Tesvav, but he was Yudalet in the day. The Rebbe says that's when the moon gets fullest, and the Rebbe says that we have to farbring in a fashion, in a way that every place has to farbring. Because a lot of places, what they do is, you farbring over here, and then there's another place, another congregation that will come and join you over here. The Rebbe says that should not be the case. Every congregation, every shul, every community should make their own farbrings. The smallest places that never thought you could make a farbring in. Onitas Kislev, the Rebbe says they have to farbring in order to show that there's no more a giver and a recipient. There's no more like the moon and the sun. Everyone is a giver. Everyone, as we said before, that what the moon and the sun now become the same thing. They become one essence. This is what we have to show. We have to show that every place he's standing on his own 2 feet. Every place is a giver, not a recipient anymore. You have to farbring every place, the Rebbe says. And then the Rebbe in parentheses, the Rebbe says, it's very good if you can make 3 farbrings. If you can farbring for yourself, bring on your own, and farbrengen with your friends, and then go and join another farbrengen. In other words, you definitely have to make a farbrengen on your own. That's one of the directives. To join another farbrengen, to make a farbrengen with your family as well, whatever, to join another bigger farbrengen, but you definitely had to farbrengen in your own place. So obviously for a yeshiva bachur, wherever the yeshiva is, that's where farbrengen is. Nobody's going to farbrengen in their own room, make it your own farbrengen. They're all going to be farbrengen over here. That's your place. And one of the last things the Rebbe talked about is France. In the Haftarah of this Shabbos, we're going to read about France. And the Rebbe says, the Rebbe connects everything to Yutas Kislev, but the last thing, the last mission, the last thing that had to be done in order for Galus to really finish off was the elevation of France. And the Haftarah mentions France. It says that France will start, Galus will start with France. And then the Rebbe starts to get into a whole discussion about France. Why France? And that was the lowest place. I think we mentioned this last time. The lowest place. And at the same time, France, we see Tzarfat is the numerical value of 770. Incredible. It's also from the word Paratzta and France. And 770 is numerically equal to France. And then the Rebbe says, France itself had to be elevated, but who could actually elevate France? It was the lowest of the low. The ideology of France was they wanted their own rulership. They overthrew the emperor.
How do you close the AC here?
They overthrew the
Very
king.
cold, huh?
They overthrew the king and the queen, and they wanted to take over. They wanted freedom of religion, freedom of everything, not just freedom of religion, but freedom of atheism. In other words, they were their own source of
When are
life.
you going home? You could drop me off from here, huh?
So they said, the Rebbe says that France was already elevated. Not only has it been elevated, but it's become a source of Torah. Today you have a lot of good yeshivas in France. And the Rebbe ends off with a whole discussion about France. And that was it. And all that we said about the farbrengens. Everyone has to farbrengen on their own, make their own farbrengen at their own place. Thank you very much.
Great. Yeah.